Today I'm going to go through these 4 yarns that I carry on my website and answer some of the questions that I most often see in my comments section about how to use them, what they are, and what projects are best for each of them. So I'm going to get started with the chenille yarn because you may be most familiar with this. You might have seen it at your local craft store. It's more widely available than my other yarns, and it's super soft, super fluffy, machine washable, so it's great for a variety of projects. Like blankets is where a lot of people start when they're doing hand knitting or hand crochet, but you can also do stuffies, pillows, all sorts of things. So the price point for this is $10.25 on my website for one skein, and as you can see, it's very pretty. So I should also say that you can use a jumbo hook or jumbo needles with this kind of yarn. I've never personally used those because I just prefer the hand techniques. It's just easier for my brain. That's how I learned. But if you have, please drop the size of those knitting needles or hooks in the comments so that others who are looking for those can find what they're looking for. So next up is the cotton tube yarn, and this is my personal fave, I think, because it was my first love of the chunky yarns. About 5 years ago is when I stumbled across this, and I just haven't given it up ever since. So I've gone through a variety of styles of cotton tube yarn, and this is by far the highest quality that I've ever had, and so I'm really thankful to carry it on my website. As you can see, tube yarn is where you have the cotton on the outside and then these white polyester fibers on the inside. So it gives a little bit of squish and a little bit of weight to your project. So if you're doing a blanket, it will be a weighted blanket when you're done. And it's really good for adding structure. So I make jumbo stuffies with this, and I don't have to stuff the inside because there's already stuffing in the yarn, and it provides a really good structure for what I'm making. Same thing with baby boats, but you can also do pillows, handbags, wreaths, so many different things. So this is also machine washable and very durable, and so a great option. It is more expensive than a chenille yarn, so this is $16.50 per skein on my website, and there's less length per skein, so if that makes sense, because this weighs a lot more. So one skein of cotton tube yarn is about 1 pound. One skein of chenille yarn is 1/4 of a pound. So they're just a completely different product. I think personally, even though I've never used the jumbo hooks or needles, I think that it might be kind of cumbersome because this, since it is thicker and has more structure to it, I think it might be harder to work with. But if you've tried it, please let me know in the comments. Let me know how it went. Next is our velvet tube yarn. So this is very similar to the cotton one, except for the outside is velvety smooth. And this is my brand new Ultra Luxe velvet tube yarn. So you can see it has the same polyester fibers in the middle, and there's a little bit of stretch to this outside fabric, which I've really enjoyed while working with it. To me, this feels a little chunkier even than the cotton tube yarn. There's just like a little more fluff in it. So if you're trying to do like a very intricate project, this is not the yarn for you. But if you want a high quality, very luxurious weighted blanket, then this would be a really good option. So same thing with the cotton tube yarn. I think that the velvet tube yarn is just a little thick and chunky to be using the knitting needles or crochet hook. But again, if that's how you've learned how to do this and the hand techniques seem intimidating to you, then you can go ahead and try it. However, I am a firm believer that anyone can learn how to hand crochet or hand knit. I think without the barrier of those tools, it makes it a lot easier to learn, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, which I've heard that comment a lot. If you're left-handed, can you learn? I think yes. I've taught many workshops where people who are left-handed have learned just fine and walked away with a complete project. So I think that's encouraging. And last but not least is our exclusive yarn. So this is our printed yarn. It's exclusive to Stay Cozy. We're the only people who carry it, the only company, business, small business, whatever you want to call me. So I'm the only shop that carries this, and it has the polyester fibers on the inside. I will tell you from feeling it, it doesn't feel as chunky as either the velvet or the cotton tube yarn, so it's like a little bit thinner. And I think that's just because this is like a fabric that was printed, and then there's like a seam along it. And so it's just a little different texture than the cotton tube yarn. But same thing, basically you can do the same kinds of projects with this. Machine washable. Like I said, all the other yarns are very durable, and so this is a really fun and unique option. So, oh, I forgot to tell you the price points. So the velvet tube yarn is the same price point as the cotton tube yarn, $16.50 per skein. However, since this is a little bit thicker, it's the same weight. You get like about 1.1 pounds per skein, but the length is a little bit shorter. So that's just good to know. All the details are on my website. So if you're like calculating for a project, how many skeins you need, you can use that information on there, or feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help you estimate what you need. And then this price point is $19.50. So obviously this is a little more expensive because it's completely custom to us and only printed for Stay Cozy. So all that said, let me know in the comments, which one's your favorite? What do you prefer to work with? What are you wanting to work with for your next project? And if you have other questions that I can answer, please let me know. Oh, and all of these yarns can be found on my website, staycozyco.com. I currently just ship within the United States, but I ship everywhere in the US. If you are overseas and I can't give you my yarns, I encourage you to find someone more local to you, and you can still use my videos to learn how to hand knit and crochet. So thanks for being here.